I'd like to welcome Pamela Molina to the floor. Pamela is the Executive Director of the World Federation of the Deaf and a leader in the gender and disability advocacy throughout the Americas and globally. Pamela, the floor is yours. Gracias.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me in this meeting in Women Enable International for this panel in this side event. Thank you, Maria Angel. First of all, I would like to talk about the intersectionality of all deaf people. Deaf people are intersectional. We belong to the disability rights movement, and therefore I am entitled to exercise the individual rights recognized by the CRPD. Still, we also belong to a linguistic plurality minoritized group, while entitled to exercise our collective right to access, and we use our national sign languages. Similarly to the rights recognition to the indigenous and Afro-descendant communities. Our collective right hasn't been recognized yet by any human rights treaty or in national laws. And that's why deaf people are still far left behind. Intersectionality provides a pivotal approach to exercising the rights of deaf people. And we are women, indigenous, LGBTQ+, Afro-descendant, migrants from the global south, and so on. The vision of the World Federation of the Deaf, the WFD, and the international non-governmental organization representing and promoting approximately 70 million of deaf people human rights worldwide is a world where deaf people everywhere can sign anywhere. A world where deaf people are seen as part of the natural range of human diversity, and where our language is not seen as a minority language, but just as diverse but equal language, used by everyone who chooses to. To achieve it, we must include on equal basis the leadership of deaf women and girls. We want a world where deaf women and deaf girls are leading society's change of power toward the exercise of our collective rights and a collaborative and cross-cutting leadership style. To achieve that, two main priorities need to be pursued. The first one is capacity building activities. Knowledge sharing and learning of and with deaf women on their rights. Gender equality, gender and disability justice, civil, political, social, economic, cultural, and environmental rights, sexual and reproductive rights, sexual education, and leadership tools and skills for change. All these concepts and matter that could look simple for the human majority are not accessible in sign language, and the huge majority of deaf women in the world, especially in the global south, are not informed or made aware about their rights. So, to identify gender-based violence, to take free and informed decisions about their bodies, to look for protection and help, this must be their rights, our rights. And the second one is to promotion of the deaf women leadership roles in the disability movement and National Association of the Deaf, based on a survey conducted in the 2020 by the World Federation of the Deaf, on the representation of deaf women in leadership positions in the National Association of the Deaf in every country, we found out that only 23% of the National Association of the Deaf have a deaf women in a leadership role. Only 23%. I want to share with you all some examples of why it is so important to develop capacity building and cross-cutting knowledge sharing from deaf women to deaf women. In our citizen data research project conducted among 40 deaf indigenous women in Bolivia and supported by CVM Global Disability Inclusion, a huge majority of them are not informed on sexual reproductive health rights, 61.5%, as they did not receive comprehensive sexual education. They didn't know anything regarding the sexual transmitted infections, do not use any family planning or contraception method, nor received information on family planning or contraception methods and prevention of sexual transmitted infections. Due to the lack of information, this is culturally, linguistically, and cognitively adapted to their needs. Deaf indigenous women face a high risk of gender-based discrimination and violence. 100% of deaf indigenous women interviewed were victims of rape and didn't have access to justice for that. When we want deaf women to be active in the disability movement, we need to train and build their capacity on their rights, and this can only be done by deaf women themselves, who are sign language users and share the same understanding or experiences as deaf women trainees. Two examples of our work in this field are the deaf women rights training provided for 12 deaf leaders of 6 southern African countries, Botswana, Zambia, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Namibia, Malawi. We have these two projects, and want to keep doing the research. We wish to continue these initiatives in other countries in the global south. More empowered deaf women leaders can make an impact and lasting change in the disability movement and feminist movement. It is only if we reach out to every deaf woman and girl and build their capacity and leadership roles that we can achieve an inclusive disability movement. So, with this achievement, we can make an inclusive diversity movement where there are not audible voices or signs to be counted. Thank you very much.